Previously on Let's Pour and Ponder.
I think I'm in a situationship with my Netflix. I recently started watching this show called Nobody Wants This.
And there are going to be spoilers. So here's your sign to pause and jump onto Netflix and then come back here when you're done. I somehow didn't like Morgan as much.
I think the tragedies in Joanne's love life were like the topic of conversation all the time.
But this is also a very good example of enmeshment, right?
I thought she got the comical value up a little bit.
Adam Brody.
Oh my god, the man doesn't age. We need to talk about the kiss. I was like, just lips, guys, lips. I want it. I want to see it. It sounds to me that Noah's, whatever it was, it sounded like an arranged thing.
It is possible to just, have a hot rabbi land in your lap and, have this perfect relationship.
But when has it been easy? It hasn't been
It
easy.
has not. It's a little, it was too quick. It would have been a red flag for me, actually.
I mean, I would have dumped her if I was Noah. It feels a lot like what happens in our culture.
More parents need to be supportive of their children's decisions if they want to back out.
So many men also in our culture are unable to say what he's saying to his parents. On her own, actually, Rebecca is a great girl. I'm sure she can find somebody much better than Noah.
She had zero awareness that the person that she was with didn't really love her.
That's
How
true.
great is she really?
It was basically just to guilt trip him into thinking that agar
Such
तुमने ये
Desi
किया,
vibes,
I
no?
know. I was like, oh, रे ऐसे तो सब जगह करते हैं.
And his dad. One of the
I love him.
parent characters that I liked in this series.
Yeah. बीना जी पे तो बहुत गुस्सा आया मुझे.
Husband nahi hai, like he's passed away or you're a single parent.
तभी भी it's not
Understand.
okay.
Tumko, you want your son because he's a rabbi to marry a Jewish girl, but it's okay for you to eat pork. What is up with her, Esther?
He worships you. Then why do you treat him like dirt? Maybe people have not seen those kind of relationships growing up in their life.
Hi, I'm Nikita.
Hi, I'm Pooja.
And welcome to
Let's Pour and Ponder.
Welcome to part 2 of episode 3, where we're talking about Nobody Wants This. Let's come to Joanne's side of the family.
Yeah.
They are slightly better than Noah's parents in that they are not overly involved in her life decisions, that they don't tell her who she needs to be with, who she can marry and all of that. But there is something off about that. Would you like to go first?
Their family is classic dysfunctional. You can see that. But I do feel for the mom because I feel like she probably loved her husband a lot and he was just, gay. And he...
2 children, so many years of marriage, and then you've...
It happens. It can happen, right?
Yeah.
So there's no running away from that. And kudos to him for following his heart, whatever.
Yeah, of course.
But obviously sucks for the mom. But then you can clearly see that all of this, whatever she's doing with with her life, it's all, like a coping mechanism for her. And you can clearly see that it's everything is a pretense, like pretending to be a full family because, my therapist said that the girls need both parents and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, that's funny, Mom, they're adults now.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking, what, are they 10? You tell me, what do you think?
From what Joanne described, one thing that stood out to me was that a parent's relationship is how it is affects everything in their children's lives.
Yeah.
Because that is the one relationship that they have the front row seats to and they see it up close, personal, that whatever their parents normalize, the children internalize that as normal.
Yeah.
So if their gender roles are normalized in a house, unless of course children are exposed to other households where they see that it's not the same, but this is the one relationship that they see as close, and we are genetically programmed to love our parents, right? Like, which is why you see that even in cases where parents are supremely abusive to children, children have love for their parents, and they're like, I can't do this to my mom, even though my mom has done this to me.
Yeah.
After all, it's my mom, or
Yeah.
after all, it's
Yeah.
my dad. Which is, so what struck me the most was that the takeaway for me was that when my children watch, they should have an example of a healthy relationship. Because Joanne says that I saw my mother be so emotional and ask for, my dad to be that emotional with her, and he never gave that to her. And I don't want to be in that position, so I never open up.
Yeah.
And she's missing out on such a big part of a relationship by not allowing herself to ask for what she wants or open up about her feelings, which I don't think is, it's everyone should get to experience everything.
I know at some point we'll talk about this aspect of parenthood as well, but it
Yeah.
just sometimes keeps me up at night thinking about what, no matter what you do, good or bad, as parents, you'll always leave some sort of trauma or impression in your child's mind, and that is like the building blocks of what they would be as an adult. And it's so sometimes I find it's so like pressurizing to be, I don't know, to show up in the best way possible for my daughter, and it's just sometimes really, really hard.
So let me tell you something that's going to make you feel better and let you sleep at night. Okay. It's a problem only if you refuse to acknowledge what you did and refuse to change that. Okay. So, at some point, even our children will understand that this is our first run at this gig, and they didn't come with a handbook of, this is how you should be treated. But if our children come and tell us that, Mom or Dad, this is what you did when we were younger and it hurt us, if we say, I'm sorry, and what can we do to make it better, and then we follow through on that, I think that is going to make the whole thing less traumatic. Because like you said, we are also learning. We don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
So we will make mistakes. But those mistakes turn into trauma if we keep repeating it. And if we don't acknowledge that they are affecting our children in a certain way, or we again dismiss that, अरे चल सब पेरेंट्स करते हैं तो क्या हुआ, हमने भी किया, हम माँ बाप है इतना तो हमको हक बनता है टाइप नॉनसेंस अगर हमने जायज नहीं दिया बच्चों को, I think they'll be fine. And then we open up a dialogue about how did that make you feel? Okay, what would you like me to do instead? How should I have responded? What did you need in that moment that I wasn't able to give you? And then you take in that feedback and then you work on yourself to be the best parent that your child needs.
Yeah, I've found that hugs or cuddles work a lot. They help a lot in some situations. So yeah. And
but not everything can be solved by hugs and cuddles, which is where these conversations,
at least with the children
help.
Sometimes at this age, I think a lot can happen with a hug. But yeah, but I think especially with Joanne and Noah's parents, I don't think the mom will ever acknowledge that what she's doing is detrimental to his well-being. No, because she has her own scars, right? She's living her own issues, or probably running away from them, and just, like cruising through life, I guess.
Which kind of surprises me about the previous generation, right? Are you that oblivious? Or is your trauma so big and that you're living through it and you're not even able to recognize it? The show Kyunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi, when I first heard the title, I'm bringing this up because you'll see what I mean. When I read or when I heard the title, I thought the show was about a mother-in-law treating her daughter-in-law better because she was once a daughter-in-law. She knows what it's like to be treated that way, and she doesn't want the new daughter-in-law to go. It's so naive.
ऐसा होता है तो सालों साल चलता क्या?
Exactly. I was in your shoes once and I don't want that experience
No,
for
it
you.
was more like I got beaten up, so now you get beaten up. You know? मेरे को पड़ी तो अब तू भी खा.
An entire generation skipped that self-awareness ka class, I think.
Totally.
I don't know where they were when those lessons were happening. But nahi, bilkul self-awareness, reflection, okay, and improvement. हम हैं ऐसे.
हाँ हम ऐसे ही
Everybody else
हैं.
has to
हम
deal
ऐसे ही
with.
हाँ deal with it. अब नहीं हो सकते चेंज. अब तो हो गए. हमारी जिंदगी खत्म हो गई. खत्म ही नहीं हो रही है.
मारने पे तुली हुई है. खत्म ही नहीं हो रही. कितनी पी तूने बता? How much have you had?
I think this is my second glass, so it's almost
Okay.
done. So we are talking about the relationship now, aren't we?
Oof.
Ooh, the best
relationship of dreams.
part. So why do you think everybody wants this?
Ironic, right? That the show is called Nobody Wants This.
But that's the appeal, I think. Reverse
maybe.
psychology. It works.
But actually, to be fair, that's the name of the podcast. Nobody wants this. Nobody wants that version of Joanne and Morgan, I think. But what's amazing and appealing about Noah and Joanne's relationship is that despite having so many differences in terms of their background, one is almost an atheist and the other is a rabbi, not just a religious person, he's a rabbi. They really love each other and they seem to make their relationship a priority. They want the relationship to work and other things can wait. They are not as important because they've both, like you said, Noah has been wanting that. He wanted that connection and he got it and he wants to keep it. And Joanne also, after a series of bad relationships, she has something that she recognizes is special.
Yeah.
And it's such a healthy relationship. I would have loved to see them screw up in earlier relationships, which is why I'm sure that a lot of people will appreciate this more. But their conflict resolution is awesome. They have trust issues sometimes, but they work through their issues instead of giving each other the silent treatment or ghosting or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
Which is
What
quite
about
typical, isn't it? Yeah, I like the same things you do, but I like the development of how, Noah wants these two very important things in his life. Being a rabbi, which is his job, okay.
Head rabbi.
But head rabbi, sorry. And also then he wants the girl of his dreams.
Who's a shiksa?
A shiksa. I love that word though. Sometimes when he prioritizes one, he almost sort of loses the other one. Not loses, but loses touch with the other one. So in that episode where they're planning their first holiday or something like that together, and then it ends up being that he needs to go to this camp. But it was like, I mean, in that moment, I felt like I could see myself in Joanne, because if I love someone, I would prioritize the hell out of them. And I felt like Joanne was doing that, and she had this important podcast meeting that she didn't go to because she wanted to spend time with this guy, and then he was still like, oh God, I want this opportunity, so I need to go and do this. So at some point it did feel like, was he, like, even though they look perfect, there were times when it felt like, was he really not ashamed but embarrassed by the fact that he was dating
there
this
is a
girl?
nuance in this. Let's bring that nuance up, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say if, I'm going to say when, okay? When we, the two of us, reach that point where Spotify wants to talk to us about our podcast, okay?
Yeah.
If there is something important going on in your life where you need to be there and you are confident that I can handle it on my own, I think it would be okay for you to say that, listen, I can't make it to this. Will you do this on your own?
Yeah, definitely.
Which is what Joanne did when it came to the podcast, because she was confident that her sister will be able to handle it. And their other friend, who was their agent or something, was also present at the meeting. So it wasn't that she said no to the meeting. There were 66%
she didn't
attendance
say no.
from the podcast side.
But do you see the fact that
Hang on.
if Joanne was there, that
Mhm.
meeting would have been even better. Like, it would have
It
looked
would.
a lot better.
So see, it was a holiday. They could have rescheduled to another weekend. It wasn't a this or that. He didn't say you can't go to the podcast meeting. She decided she wanted to be with him this weekend over the podcast meeting. Even if he hadn't gone for work, they were going to be away for whatever holiday they were planning at.
Yeah.
Now his work was the occasion was such that nobody else was available to do it. He was the only one who could replace the head rabbi who was not there, and this would be a step up in promotion. If he had a Morgan who could go instead of him, I am sure he would have also
he would
picked
have
that.
done it.
So the
Yeah.
situation is not exactly the same, and a lot of people would have fought over this. If I can skip my meeting, why can't you say no?
That is such a big
So
thing.
this
isn't
was
it?
handled in
But-
a very healthy way. And when Morgan realized, now let's come back to the fact where you thought he was embarrassed. Let's bring that now.
No,
when
but
they were
like
at the camp.
him wanting to hide her in that little place that they were, the hut or whatever it was, the cabin
To be fair,
that they were
he
in.
hid her only from the head rabbi, not from everyone else.
Yeah. What are you doing? Who are you in support of?
I am not, we are not going to find faults in people simply for the sake of finding faults.
Yeah.
He was very open with her about, he called her a friend, and the teenage girls,
Yeah,
oh my God,
I
the
would be
teenage
like,
girls.
friend?
So
Friend that you're sleeping with? What the F?
Teenagers are savage, dude. And they're like,
they are.
I mean, they gave her the reality check that, she probably
She needed that. She probably needed that.
But like I said, for his job was of a nature where, okay, so suppose Joanna's podcast was about all this raunchy sex that she was having, and it was absolutely no against relationship and marriage, and she was about to get married. This was a fact she would have hidden from her podcast because her audience is used to that. She wouldn't be open about it. Maybe this was something she would have on the side. She is in a committed relationship, but the podcast audience wouldn't know. Which is why Morgan got pissed off when she was getting into a committed relationship, because they wouldn't have
But
stories.
you don't know that, because
No,
when
obviously
she got into
this is a hypothetical situation.
Yeah, because when she got in this healthy relationship, she stopped sharing a lot, which was pissing everybody off. But
isn't that bad on the
Joanne
audience's
has
part as well? I'm sorry.
it is. You can't please everyone, to be honest.
But your entertainment has to come at the cost of someone else's misery. You can't be happy that someone found like everyone who's listening to that Single People podcast will someday be in a relationship, and that Single People podcast will no longer be relevant to you. So why can't people be happy for other people progressing in their lives, no matter whether it is relationship progress, career progress, financial, or just evolution as a person?
Jealousy is the word.
I
Or
don't know.
FOMO.
Which, okay, so I know this is not a part of this relationship, but we also discussed, there was also this part in where they're all at the gym and they're all searching Rebecca on the internet, on social media, and Rebecca doesn't have a profile.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rebecca is Noah's ex, and they said, maybe she's so secure in herself that she doesn't need validation, and that statement kind of irked me. Are we on social media because we need others' validation? I don't think so. That generic
You
statement
don't think
that
so.
everyone...
You don't think so, but there are a lot of people out there who find being on social media and other people commenting and doing things and just sharing stuff about them and their life, and people find validation. People do what they want to do.
That is true. I'm not saying social media is not validating. That is not what I said. I'm saying, are we on social media because we need that validation? Do we share stuff on social media for validation?
I can see that you're triggered by this. Okay.
Because it was a generic statement. She doesn't need validation. So everybody else on social media, when I shared my breastfeeding struggles, I didn't need validation. I shared it because if somebody else had shared this, it would have helped me. So
I know
wanted to...
But let me give you another point of view, okay? Could it just be that it was all about dry American humor?
Do Americans have dry humor? I thought that was a very British thing.
But you never know. This friend that says this statement seems like a person who is always sarcastic and says
There was another friend in that
mean
group
stuff.
who said something about her face. You have only 3 years left in your face.
Yeah.
What kind of a friend says that, man? I mean, even as a joke.
There are people out there, you'd be surprised. So
I
think it was no. Let's see this way. It's like, had Chandler Bing said something like this in Friends, would we be this offended?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Because Chandler Bing made I don't from off the top of my head, I don't remember any of Chandler's joke as a very personal derogatory remark on someone's appearance.
No, but still, I feel like if it was a goofy character who's always saying jokey
even
stuff,
if he made
then
a
we would
remark
accept
like that, but even if he made a remark like that, it would be so exaggerated that you would know it was impossible. So even if he said something about someone's appearance, it would have been such an exaggerated statement that, you would know it's a joke. But this something like, oh my God, you have only 3 years left in your face before.
No, not that
you need
statement.
Botox
The
or
one
something.
before that.
Which
the one before that.
The
The one
validation
that
wala.
you said. Yeah, the validation wala.
Oh, that was not a joke. That was a statement, which was, we experience this a lot, okay? People who try to be a little different from the crowd, they seem to think that they are better off because they are not doing what everyone else is doing. So things like, oh, I am not on social media. I'm not like everybody else. I am better off because I am not. Obviously, in this case, Rebecca wasn't the one saying about that, but we saw a big display of this recently in the Indian social media sphere, where after the Coldplay concert thingy. So if those of you who don't know, Coldplay is performing in India in January in Navi Mumbai, DY Patil Stadium in Nerul. Okay, I don't know why I said it like that. Okay, so Coldplay is coming to Mumbai, and that DY Patil Stadium, I think it's performing in 1 or 2 places. I think MMRD in Bandra also, but both spaces have limited tickets. Obviously, India has a population of 1.8 billion. Even if like 10% of India's or 1% of that audience is Coldplay fans, not everyone's going to get tickets. Okay, so there was a lot of waiting list, and people were sharing screenshots of their Book My Show status where they were like on waiting list number 9 lakhs or something like that. Okay,
9 lakhs. That's
one
ridiculous.
section of
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I want 9 lakhs पे आने के लिए all 50,000 people have to cancel for that person's number to come for them to be able to buy the tickets. Okay, so there were these people who were sharing their disappointment at they were there and they were clicked and उनको नहीं मिला ticket on time. Then another section of people came up saying कि है Coldplay क्या है, we don't listen to Coldplay, ये सुनो, and coming up with Indian singers and all of that.
Oh my God.
I mean, this one-upmanship is something that if somebody enjoys Coldplay, just because you don't listen to Coldplay doesn't make you better. Or whoever you listen to, just because
And
you listen to
Coldplay
this.
is cool, man. You gotta listen to them.
There were comments. So there's I think Marriott or some hotel, jiska some of the rooms look into the DY Patil Stadium. Okay, so there was this one room. But there was this one room that looks directly into that you don't have to. If you can't buy tickets, book a room here, karke. So somebody in the comment, ki all of these people who are dying for Coldplay's tickets, do they even know the names of the band members? You don't have to know the name of all the band members to enjoy music. Even if you know one Coldplay song, you can learn the rest when you're at the concert. It's okay. Game of Thrones ke saath. Oh, Game of Thrones. Everybody's watching Game of Thrones. I am not. Cool. That doesn't make you better for not watching Game of Thrones. If so many people are watching, there must be something about it. And from a storytelling point of view, the interwebs and the foreshadowing and all of that is so good.
It's one of my favorites.
If you were one of those people who said, oh, I don't watch Game of Thrones. If you said, I watched it, I didn't like it, that's fine. That's a very valid
different.
opinion.
Yeah.
I don't watch Game of Thrones. Ye to ye better hai. Nahi.
नहीं
Sorry.
better. चुप रहो.
So this entire thing came off as somebody not being on social media somehow makes them better than the rest, which did not sit well with me. I mean, it's a choice.
No, but
it's a very
I
valid
think,
choice
no,
to
I
not be
think,
on social media.
Yeah, but I feel like it was there for just the comical value of it. And it didn't really, I don't think the writers might have put it in that sense to, make anybody feel that way. Okay, I need to ask you one thing. What did you think about, Joanne's, I think I might be pregnant text?
Oh, I cringed because I have done crap like that. Okay.
Oh my
But
God.
thankfully, I married the guy, so all that crap was worth it. But I have sent such cringy messages to Sandeep. I wrote the entire lyrics of Fix You. Once in a
So
I don't know if he remembers or not. It's like,
he will
"Kya
now.
ye ladki
He will
pagal?"
now.
Abhi theek hai. I hope he watches, but he watches in parts. So I'm hoping that this part
I can see the rose-tinted glasses still.
अब है अभी जिंदगी काटनी है पूरी इसके साथ तो फिर वो रखना पड़ेगा ना otherwise it becomes harder if you can only see flaws. I mean, you should be able to see flaws. You should not have this god-like image of your partner where they can do no wrong.
Yeah.
It is healthy to know that there is a balance, but those rose-tinted glasses have to be there for some parts that you can overlook some of the flaws and live a happy life together for some time. But yeah. I think that it was very funny, the text. But if Noah was not Noah and was somebody else, they probably wouldn't have reacted the same way.
Yeah, they would have just
ghosted. I think you should know किसके साथ ऐसी बात कर सकते हैं. What about you? What was your feeling?
I was like laughing at it and I was thinking that is exactly what I would say. Something stupid,
Really?
like something stupid and crazy like that. I could easily do something like that. And I was like, I find it funny. I'm sure this person would find it funny as well, and not everyone does, but yeah. I thought it was funny.
So next, let's come to this whole term that, do you want to say it?
The ick.
The term itself is so. I think that is one of my icks, like saying ick.
But
okay.
Tell me, do you think those flowers were they ick worthy?
I don't think it was the flowers. I think it was the whole personality he was putting on. Just to make the parents like him, and she was like, just be yourself, and that whole get up with the shorts and the blazer and all of that.
I think he got flustered the moment he heard
I get what he was
and he was like, oh, I need to impress
so I
them.
get what he was trying to do, but she was like, you don't need to put in this extra effort. Just be who you are. And he rightfully wanted to impress the parents. Just experience meeting girls' parents, because girls' parents are very, this about the boy. So he wanted to present himself well. I think that's a good thing. She probably has not experienced anyone putting in that much effort.
Putting in that much.
With her, let alone in trying to make a good impression on her parents.
On the parents, yeah.
But are icks that bad? Have you ever had one?
Yeah, I have. I mean, for me, an ick would be
no, not hypothetical, an actual ick that happened. Acha.
Inconsistency, like repeated inconsistency. If you're saying, I'm gonna call you at this point, and you're not calling me at that point, or you're constantly saying, oh, let's do this on this such and such date, and then there's nothing, like, and we don't do those things, or I'm gonna buy you something and then you don't end up buying me something, then that's an ache, because you've given me all these dreams about I want to, I'm gonna talk to you about this and this when you call me, and then you haven't called me.
So is this only in relationships, or is this with friendships also? Like in general, it gives you the ick with
general people? Yeah. I think inconsistency in, but not just once, but like repeated inconsistency.
Yeah.
Like
once, I think we can excuse, right?
That I think is a no for me. Like,
So what do
yeah.
you do when somebody behaves this way? Like you get the ick, and then what happens to the person or the relationship once you've
I
realized
think I
that?
pull away. I start pulling away. That's what I do.
Oh.
Um, I'm not very good at goodbyes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
What do you mean? Do you
sorry.
ghost people?
Maybe I might have
Oh
ghosted a
my
few people.
God, Pooja.
I'm gonna drink.
As someone who has been on the receiving end of it, not cool, Pooja.
No. Let me clarify. I don't ghost friends.
So then who are you ghosting? Why are you getting
Men.
ick from people who are...
Men.
Okay, still, I mean,
Exes.
at least give them a reason. Just give me a reason. Sorry.
They should be present to have the reason, huh?
Oh,
वही तो एक है.
okay. ठीक है, I guess
है ना?
that's fair. Yeah,
What
वही
about
तो
you?
एक है.
What could be your ick?
My ick would be showing off for the sake of showing off in front of other people and not being the same in private.
That is true. That is a good one.
There was
yeah.
this one person who did all the cake and flower things when we were meeting with other people, and then when we are just the two of us, or no big deal, like okay, सब दूसरों को दिखाने के लिए है सिर्फ, तो feels weird, right? Like why are you doing it? Why are you trying? Maybe that's the ick Joanne got, because that's what Noah did. But he did that. Did he do these gestures when they were alone as well? Oh, the put your ice cream down and just kiss me right here, right now was a big thing. But did he get her anything?
I don't think so.
It was just flowers.
I don't
See,
think-
it was just flowers once. This was multiple
come
times.
on. I'm like, who
Yeah,
doesn't
no.
love flowers?
For me
Like,
now,
she
in
didn't
my
even
eyes,
have a,
Noah can't
have
do
a
any
vase.
wrong. Sorry?
She didn't even have like a vase or vase or whatever.
Gamla
She
nahi
didn't have-
vas.
She didn't have that. So it's like, I was like,
Maybe that's why she got pissed. अब ये रखूं कहाँ पे मैं? Now I have to figure out where to put this. मेरी जगह ही नहीं है, किधर रखूं मैं?
But flowers से किसको एक होता है रे? I think it was the prego.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
That was so
Could be,
crazy.
yeah,
I would be like this also. What happened to you?
Yeah.
Who are you?
Basically putting on a personality that's not you.
Yeah.
Would be.
Yeah. But the way he came back from the ick, I feel like it just healed a lot of women out there. That
Noah's
one scene.
existence has healed a lot of women. Let me just say that. I think just
Yes.
seeing that somebody can be so responsive,
Please,
considerate.
husbands, please, can you watch this? Take notes and just
Is it
do
for
it.
husbands in general or for our husbands in particular?
Our husbands. दूसरों के मैं क्या करूँगी?
नहीं, public service, right? You are telling husbands in general
Okay.
to watch this. So I was like,
Husbands,
specifically-
boyfriends, please,
Yeah.
just do it. The words, they are important, and there are
No,
so
empty
many.
words without the feeling and without following through. I don't know. I would rather not have the words then.
Then no, for me it's like words. They mean a lot. Obviously, you are not gonna say it if you don't mean it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That much trust I'm giving you.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't say it if you don't feel like you love me. Then you wouldn't say I love you.
There are people who
But
do
it's-
though. Just because, like you said, no, it's like a India में check box. ये कर ले, अच्छा भी relationship में अभी I love you बोलना
अभी
है.
इंडिया में नहीं है ना. We came out ना.
हाँ.
But the way Noah is like, listen, you can self-sabotage all you want. And, it's your family. There's a lot going on. But,
I'm not letting you
get
do
over
this, he
it.
said, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you should get over it. And, because Joanne, I am on your side. And what did he say? I can handle you. I was like, please handle me. Me. I want to be Joanne. Handle me, please. Please.
Yeah, that scene in his kitchen after he cooks food for them, and he was like, she's just like so vulnerable, and he
Yeah.
takes it so well. That was emotional.
It
It
was
was
emotional.
Yeah,
I was
reassuring
like, yeah.
that, it is possible to show your not so great side to somebody and they will still love you.
Still love you, yeah.
Because most people are like, ew, that would have given... Yeah, see, he did not get the ick when she said
from... Yeah, true.
This is why I like Noah, you see? This is why.
I like Noah too.
And
Can
he
we
was
make,
raised
like,
by
two-
Sandy Cohen, so...
Can we make like two of him, like clone him in some way and just have one each?
No, it's okay. तू रख ले जो एक. It's okay.
मेरे को देगी. हाँ ठीक है चल. कितना बड़ा दिल
We
है
have a
तेरा.
visitor.
Oh.
Pooja. ठीक है, उनको आके 1.5 घंटा हो गया है. Yes, baby.
I love you.
Oh, I love you.
I love you
her
too.
too.
I love her too.
I
बोली
love-
तुझे चाहिए
I
था ना
love you
दिल से I
too.
love you. ये देख अच्छा जगह सही जगह पे माइक के पीछे इसकी शक्ल we can put this.
Hear that?
You can't. Oh, she can't hear you. 1 second.
I love you too so much.
Blush कर रही है, blush कर रही है. So, इक विक शिक पिक शिक्सा पिक्सा सब कुछ हो गया. In closing, it has been a wonderful show to watch. Very heartwarming. Maybe certain unrealistic expectations for relationships because not everybody is going to get this easily. You have to work hard, even though it looks like a very easy relationship. What do you think?
It's because of their age as well. They both seem to be in their 40s or something like that. So it's like there is that sense of maturity, and I think why women are raving about this, because somehow you feel like this is the bar must be really low, right? Because this is something you should just have. Without asking, the kind of understanding and the kind of words that are being said over here. It's like this should just be there, regardless if you love the person. But I guess people are not seeing that these days. So, those men who are like saying, "Arey, I don't know what women want these days," Then I would say, go watch this show. This is what we want.
But
Easy
it's not
peasy.
everybody. Obviously, everyone's expectations are different. So if you have a woman in mind, go ask her what she wants. And women, when somebody asks you what you want, tell them clearly. Don't expect anyone to read between the lines then, or anyone to be mind readers, even if they are your friends. So, circling, घूम फिर के आ जाता है ना सब friendship के ऊपर ही.
That is also an important relationship, na?
We had fun watching this. We can't wait for... मेरा हो गया bottoms up in the waiting.
I literally have one last sip left.
So this was fun, and we can't wait for season 2. Like I said, we can't wait to see what. Obviously, we have a lot more to say, but I think we'll
wrap up now. Yeah. I think this is a good show to watch, and I'm going to go this far and say it's at par with something like Harry Met Sally or something like that. Those kind of rom-coms, and something that you
I'll take your word
feel
for it.
good
I haven't
about.
seen Harry Met Sally.
Yeah,
But
it's one of those
I'm
things.
willing to watch this again. I think I will watch this again. It is that good. I feel like watching it again. Just because I was so busy taking notes last time, like now I want to watch it properly and
enjoy it.
The good vibes.
Yeah, definitely.
So nobody wants this is the name of the show, but I guess everybody wants the relationship that Joanne and Noah have. So if we want to ask our audience, if you watch the show, what are your favorite bits? And what is that one thing that you want in a relationship that you have or you're looking for?
Yeah.
Let us know. Do you want to ask the audience something?
Just like and subscribe to our podcast and our channel.
Yes.
Because
rate
that's
us,
important
please.
as well, guys. And
Yes.
please rate us. Please rate our podcast if you're listening on Spotify and
Or Apple Podcast.
Or Apple Podcast or Amazon Music, whatever. But it's really important. We are starting out, and so far the response has been great, and I love you all for it, and we love you all for it.
And
But
all those of our friends who are sending us their feedback in private messages, please leave comments. Just copy paste all of those things into comments on YouTube or Spotify. That will help us.
So
Thank you everyone for
you.
tuning in, And
we'll see you next time on Let's Pour and Ponder. Bye. Ting 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 ting.